Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we join Mayor Cohen as he talks with Bill Neary, the Executive Director of Keep Middlesex Moving, about pedestrian safety and the future of a more walkable East Brunswick. We head to East Brunswick Vocational and Technical High School, where Sherry Levy and students in the dry cleaning program use their expertise to clean winter coats that were donated and will be distributed to those in need throughout the area. Then we visit Central Elementary School for a special assembly about Native Americans, and we look at some of the tools they used. All this, plus Barbara Reese, sits down in studio with representatives from Disability Allies, a nonprofit organization based here in East Brunswick. So stay with us. This Week in East Brunswick starts now.
We're here today at the Mid-State Mall, and I'm here with former Mayor Neary. It's not the League of Municipalities, it's not a mayor's conference, but we're here today to talk about pedestrian safety. And Bill, working at the Keep Middlesex Moving, is one of his priorities, and as you know, that's become one of our priorities. And as we look at reshaping and redoing all of the Route 18 corridor, and we're concentrating, as most of you know already, on that north end, where we're trying to put together mixed-use communities centered around transportation as the hub, and become what would be determined a transportation-oriented development. And in those type of areas, one of the key components is going to be walkability, green space, the ability for people to get around without the need of cars so that they can actually depend upon walking, bikes, public transportation. And all of that becomes important as we start to redesign the Route 18 of the future. And that's exactly the type of work you've been working on. We, in fact, have worked out a bike path which would go and be extended throughout the entire township so that the ability for people to use alternative modes of transportation is a key part of redevelopment, not only on Route 18, but throughout the entire township of East Brunswick. And as we do that, we have to do that in a way that we maintain pedestrian safety. It's a key concern of ours. People need to slow down. They need to be aware of signs. They need to be aware of traffic around them. And I think if I'm not going to steal your thunder, that's really the crux of this whole program. So maybe you could do a little bit to explain exactly what we're doing here and what the program's about.
Thank you. It is the crux, but basically for the past 30 years, Keep Middlesex Moving has been providing transportation and alternative. And I think one of the things important about East Brunswick, of course, is your vision for what's going to be in the future really is walkability.
Right.
And walkability is an important part of what we do at Keep Middlesex Moving. And I think the important part of that is understanding East Brunswick, when we're looking at a pedestrian area where it's really someplace where a lot of people are to walk across streets and everything else, there really isn't a whole lot of neighborhoods where you see pedestrians. But not everybody's aware of the fact that when you get out of your vehicle, you are a pedestrian. And Mid-State Mall and our other shopping centers are just as much a place for pedestrians and pedestrian crashes as any place else. So we chose this location here to try and promote the Street Smart campaign. Okay. Street Smart campaign is endorsed and supported by the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. They are providing us the marketing materials, which is basically posters, campaign literature. They're going to have tip cards we're going to be giving out, coffee cup holders, to try and let the people be aware of all the rules of pedestrian safety. We do a survey of the residents. We've been trying to get people to make sure they take this survey. We do have a random drawing for a prize for people who do take it. And I think this is the type of location where you can actually see activities with pedestrians that need to be reminded of the safety features of what pedestrian safety is all about.
Great. And I think that the future is that you're going to extend that way beyond what we already have here, and that the cities and the towns of the future have that as its core. And where that might not have always been the priority in the past, that becomes sort of a focus now.
Well, one of the things, of course, we all know about is the millennial generation is not happy about having to get a car. It's expensive. Right. And I think they're even saying today that a child born today may never have to learn how to drive a car because of self-driving automobiles. But with that being said, the baby boomers are also, like me, are not going to be able to drive forever either. So we need walkable communities. We need locations where we can get to without having to drive our car all the time. And that makes pedestrian safety even more critical. Statistically, pedestrian crashes are on the rise. New Jersey is one of the flashpoints for too many pedestrian crashes. So this is why the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority is certainly trying to do this education campaign. They're working with the different communities, with the police departments, with the engineering departments to make sure it's safer through enforcement, through education, and through the engineering parts of it. So I think the overall goal here is to work a comprehensive plan. A lot of the smaller communities in Middlesex County have downtowns. They have pedestrian streets. They're much more aware of some of the other issues. I think a town as nice as East Brunswick and as progressive and as intelligent people that are here need to be reminded that they are pedestrians and they have to be careful because there's an awful lot of cars around.
That's true. I think the other thing that people forget, and it might not be intuitively logical, but that suburbs were engineered in a manner that actually does not help prevent accidents, despite how illogical that sounds. When people moved out of big cities, which are basically all at right angles, all the roads, suburbs weren't designed that way. The roads were wider, the roads were more curved, and it actually visually gives the driver the sense that they have more space and they can move a car right or left simply with a finger versus actually having to turn the whole arm. So the instinct, the psychology of it is that it actually promotes faster driving in an area where you're not routinely expecting to see pedestrians. In cities, you expect them on the side roads and everything's at a right angle. So you get to the end of the street, you have to stop. That is not how suburbs were designed. And as we re-engineer our roads and our highways and our cities of the future, we need to keep that in mind. And if we're going to put bike paths, it visually narrows the road. It instinctually allows people to slow down. If they start seeing people there, you got the signage, all of that's going to be critical as we try to slow people down and keep them concentrating on the fact that pedestrians matter and they could be anywhere, and the design is going to be different than what you expect in a city, and we can do that, but it starts with education, which is why I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing and promoting this now, so we could do and be proactive to prevent accidents that we know will occur without thinking about it ahead of time.
Well, some of our other programs are also our Safe Routes to School program, teaching the kids how to walk to school safely. I mean, back in the day when we did that. We've done it in several schools. We're doing more of it. Right. We have a pedestrian safety program working with the senior center to remind them about pedestrian safety. We have paint the pavement programs for pedestrians who are distracted pedestrians. So we have a variety of different programs that are all tied into the same idea of pedestrian safety. And I think the overall goal that we're talking about is the connectivity of the cities. Everybody could kind of walk to a place, doesn't exist in the suburbs. And I appreciate your leadership in this, Mayor. I think it's a great thing that we're doing for the town, because as the future comes along, you're going to find a walkable community is a much more desirable community and a much safer community for people to live in. So congratulations on your vision.
Thank you very much. And thanks for your program.
I'm Shari Levy, and I'm here today at the VOTAC with a lot of the people who've been instrumental in our 6th annual coat drive. Well, Mr. Grimaldi, here we are again.
Yes, another year.
Another year of the amazing work that you do and all the students.
I'd have to say it's not me, it's the students that do all the work. I just direct it a little. Shari and people that work with Shari deliver the coats to the school. The students go out, they bring them in. We assort them, see what needs to be dry cleaned and what needs to be laundered and dried. And when we're finished with that process, we bag them up, and then Shari comes with her little elves and gets everything together and delivers them to needy people. It's great for the students. It's something for them to do, the community service, and keeps them busy.
Today happens to be a freezing day outside. I can't imagine anybody outside without a coat. However, we know it happens, and it's our way of helping you give back to the community. Just by seeing everything that we have in the storage room over there, and not even just coats today. We have a few suits in there. We have socks, we have t-shirts, we have underwear, anything that we can do to really help. And we take for granted what we have. And we forget about the fact that some other people don't have that. Well, we're trying not to forget that. And for us, the opportunity to help people out there who are in need is just a great thing for us, and we're extremely happy to do it and happy you're allowing us to do that.
The program that you've started has obviously ballooned into such a monumental effort for people who really are in need. Township has done its part I think. We've put the recycle bins throughout the different buildings within the township, and we've contributed. I know a bunch of bags were in our economic development officer's office. He almost had no room for himself, and it's an opportunity to give back. Those kids that don't have coats are often the same kids that don't show up in school in the winter. If they don't show up in school, then they don't have a meal, because many times the schools are helping those individuals in need with a meal and after-school programs and all of those things that they won't be able to partake in because they don't have a coat. It seems like such a simple thing for those of us who are blessed and are fortunate, and to have you coordinate so many people is a monumental effort, and you deserve a whole lot of credit for doing all of that, because at the end of the day, isn't that our job, to try to make somebody else's life a little bit better? There's a saying, I always say it all the time, and that is, speaks to being humble, and that is the tree that has the most fruit is the one that's bent the lowest. And you don't need, you're not doing it for the credit, you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and that's always the right motivation, and I can't be more proud of you and what you've done, because you're helping so many people.
We have been working with Sherry on this project for quite a few years now, and we have received such an overwhelming response from the township, from our residents, and they're so happy to donate their gently used coats to a great cause. So we're just happy to be part of this.
The East Brunswick Education Association, along with the East Brunswick Board of Education, were very proud to collect coats at all of our schools. They did a fabulous job, and I would like to thank all the students, the parents, principals and supervisors, and the ESP, which is the Educational Support Professionals. On behalf of them, I'd like to thank everybody for this wonderful donations of hundreds and hundreds of coats. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Every year, our youth group, which is 9th through 12th graders, goes into the city the weekend of Martin Luther King Day and does what's called a midnight run. A midnight run is where we go to different parts of the city and we hand out different supplies such as coats and winter clothing and food to many of the homeless around the city who on a normal day would not be able to get many of these items. We are very fortunate every year that we get this opportunity to do this and impact so many different people.
I'm very excited that you're here, because every year we're able to really provide coats and some warm garments to those in need. So please tell everybody a little bit about the Job Corps.
Sure. And let us just say thank you to you, Sherry, and the entire group for collecting the coats. Edison Job Corps is a vocational training school that is open to young people ages 16 to 24. And here's the good news. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And our students live with us on campus, and a number of our students are from places that are very warm, like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and southern states. So these coats are tremendously helpful this time of year. Raven is actually one of our students who is from New York and has seen what the impact of coat donations can do.
I want to say that I think it's very thoughtful for the community and for my friends and trainees to have these warm coats. I think is really thoughtful, and I thank you so much for that.
Well, I know when we first saw each other today, you looked around and you said there were great coats, and you have friends in the school who really can use them. So that makes all of us, everyone involved in the township collection, feel so good.
The thing that made it extra special is that these coats were being dry cleaned, and they were being dry cleaned by a vocational training school. We're a vocational training school, and I was like, it was meant to be. So I reached out to you, Sherry, if you remember.
Yes.
And here's the wonderful thing. Sherry just automatically said yes. Thank you for that. She didn't know who I was, why I was calling, but she said yes. And we got a tremendous amount of coats that really benefited our students at that time. So the partnership is still going on to this day, so it's a marriage made in heaven.
I would like to thank Alternative Integrated Medical Services. That's basically our headquarters. Dr. Cohen and Dr. Reisert allow us to use the facility as a collection site, and they've always helped with sending the coats over. So without their help, I couldn't do this. Thank you.
So what I'm going to be doing is teaching the boys and girls on how to how the Native Americans lived in New Jersey, and the tribes were the Lenape. And so I'm going to show them how they lived, what they ate, how they clothed themselves, what they used for tools, and things like that. Inside of there, the baby stays in there all day long, and we all know what the baby does, right? So, does anybody know what this thing is? What's it look like to you? A diaper, okay? Inside of there, the baby had a diaper. Did he have this kind of diaper? No, okay? So what did he have? He had stuff like this. Now this is corn soap. This is like corn on the cob. We have corn on the cob back here. And what we have is when you take the corn off the cob like this, you have soap coming down. So what I did was I collected a whole bunch of corn soap. Now this is stuffed up inside there and wrapped around the baby where he would do his thing, okay? And this is his diaper. Now what would happen is when mom changed his diaper during the day, she would take this and they would throw it into the woods, but they had a dump, so almost like your garbage is picked up and is taken to a dump. This kind of stuff would go into the dump, and all kinds of stuff went down in the dump. It would be broken pottery and all kinds of other garbage, and it would go down in there, and eventually it would just recycle itself, okay? Because everything was recyclable. All right, so that's what they used for. I was a volunteer firefighter for many years, and then I was a field service technician. I worked all over the United States, and retired about 5 years ago, and I'm living down here in Marlborough with my wife and 2 wonderful grandchildren and a great daughter-in-law and my son. Am I saying that right, Tennant? Yeah, tendon. Okay. Now, they use the back of the tendon off the deers and the elk and things like that also. And with that, what they would do is they would make their bowstrings out of that. It was a very strong material, and they would use it as a rope, like around here, as a handle. Okay. This tool here is called a longbow. This one here is about 90 years old. This was made by my dad, and I keep it. I don't pull the string back anymore because I'm afraid it's going to break. It's made out of lemon wood. Anybody know what a lemon wood is? It's where lemons come from. Okay, so it's mostly down in Florida and down. Looking forward to working with the boys and girls on the presentation. I'll be interested in their questions. I did this last year too, and the questions that they had were fantastic. I even learned by them asking, and I made some of my villages over here, and I developed the villages a little bit deeper from a lot of their questions that they asked me. So thank you.
Hi, this is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. We're very fortunate to be here today with 2 folks from Disability Allies. First, we have Audrey Wiener, longtime volunteer. Thank you for coming. And we have Ross Yellen, the CEO of Disability Allies. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
So we have a very fun event coming up for the holidays called the Winter Blast. Could you tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from the Winter Blast?
Sure. So, well, starters, thank you very much, Barbara, for welcoming me. We're having a really, really exciting event coming up. The purpose of our event is really to connect individuals with and without disabilities together. So we're looking for families, people who have disabilities, volunteers, people from different colleges, your friends, uncles, anybody to come and take part of it. And it's going to be an opportunity for everybody to get together and have fun and socialize with each other. We're going to have food. We have a lot of companies that have donated food to us. We have a lot of fun activities. We have a DJ. So it's just going to be an all-around good, fun time.
So where is this going to take place, and what is the date and the time, and how can we get tickets?
So it's going to be at the VFW on Cranberry Road, January 13th. And the VFW was very kind to donate a lot of things to us. It starts at 6. The incentive is we want people to sign up in advance. So if you sign up online, it's $10, $12 a door. We want people to come whether or not you sign up. And I think, like what Ross said, we don't want people to see disability or not disability. We want just people to be there and have everybody fit in as the same, which, as you know, I've been doing that for years in the school system. Going forward, I think it's just as important, if not more so. We want people to just integrate and get along and have fun. So we're doing it after the holidays so people could just come and not feel pressured, have a good time, dance, eat. I'll be cooking a little too for the event. So we just want to have fun. We'll have some prizes to give away. We have donations that people gave us. So there's lots of things that you could buy there. Just, we want everyone to have fun.
Well, that sounds wonderful, and maybe some folks are not aware of all the great work that Disability Allies and you folks do. So tell us a little bit more, perhaps, Audrey, about some of the types of events that or services that Disability Allies provides.
Well, just on a regular basis, Ross runs a program at the libraries where the kids do board games. So they come and they socialize, and he has a social worker running the group. And that's year-round. Recently, Ross did a barbecue, which was a lot of fun. And there are a lot of events during the year.
We try to do, we actually just got approved for, we've been approved for a program called the Supports Program. And we serve anybody any family who has a disability. You know, we pair them up with a coach that works with them, that's close to their age, that will take them out into the community. We'll help them socialize. We'll take them to the events that we hold. But they will also, you know, maybe even help them find a job, help them with their resume, take them to different volunteer opportunities. We had a few great opportunities that our coaches take our consumers to, which, you know, one of which would be Popcorn for the People, where they actually make, create, and market popcorn. We also have some connections at soup kitchens, animal shelters. We have a few people that have volunteered at the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of great opportunities for them. Right now we're serving 60 families, and we have 35 coaches that are currently working for us that do this. So it's a great opportunity for anybody that has a disability. We also hold a lot of events, as Audrey was talking about. We had an amazing barbecue. We have our weekly events. We do team builders. We do board game events. We actually held an event where actually at NJIT, where we actually did a transition to college event where we had different high schools come with special needs students. They came over. We paired them up with college students that had a similar interest in similar majors that they were interested in. And we paired them up and they talked about their majors. We talked about college, what it's like, transitioning and So that was an all-around good event that we had. We also have a chapter at Rutgers University, which is great, and they plan a lot of events. The college students, you know, they've done some arts and crafts events. They've done some, you know, they went out like bowling.
So you cover a wide range of activities for those members. So just to wrap it up, because we're getting close to the end of our time, we could talk about all the wonderful things that you guys accomplish. And there's also a job opening that they can look online about as well, I understand?
Yeah, there is. We actually, we're hiring direct support professionals to work for us. You know, we pay between $12 and $14 an hour to work as a coach, and we pair you up with a consumer, and it's a great experience, especially for a college student. It's flexible scheduling, hours are flexible, you pretty much make your own schedule, and we find a consumer that will be a good fit for you.
And it sounds like a meaningful job as well.
It certainly is. It's something you can certainly get, you know, credits for through college. We have a lot of people that are getting internship credits for, as well as paid.
Well, the nice thing about that is it's a nice transition out of high school into the world, because you can go out and volunteer, and you're with somebody, and it's part of your services as an adult. So, and Ross is local.
It's a nice partnership.
Yeah.
So, well, I really want to make sure to emphasize the event. So let's review one more time for our viewers. We have the Winter Blast coming up. Again, the date is coming up when?
January 13th.
And it's at the VFW.
From 6 to 10.
Excellent. And they can sign up online ahead of time, or they can come to the door. If they haven't been able to sign up online, they could come right to the event itself.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both for sharing all this wonderful information with us and for all you do for the community. It makes a real difference for a lot of people.
And thank you for having us.
Oh, our pleasure always. And this is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. Thank you for joining us.